Hi, welcome back. I'm making this video almost after 2 years. Last time when I made video, I made three video series: Build Your Second Brain, Obsidian Fundamental, and Zoltero Fundamental. I discontinued making video because of my PhD. And good news is I have completed my PhD, so now you can call me Dr. Shuvangkar Das. And second good news is I have also landed my first job actually not after, before completing my PhD. And the third good news is from today, I will continue making video again since now I am living a balanced life. I have sufficient time to spend on my hobby, which is making notes and making video on notes and second brain and all about that. So by this time, I made more than 6,000 notes in Obsidian, and all those things helped me a lot completing my PhD, landing my first internship, and landing my first job into the same institute after completing my internship before completing my PhD. And many of the notes I have published into my blog by this time. So, and you can actually look into the description for that. So, this is all about my life review, how it looks like making extensive node and managing second brain and using Obsidian and Zotero and managing all about knowledge and all the stuffs inside Obsidian. So, without further delay, let's get started. And if you are new to my channel, I am Shuvangkar Das. So, I will start with my undergrad because understanding my undergrad life is important so that I want my viewer not to make the same mistake that I did during my undergrad. So during my undergrad, I extensively work with hardware. So I mostly work with embedded system, Internet of Things, PCB design, firmware development, all those stuffs. And I accomplished so many funded and hobby projects. I also participated different competitions at that time. Not only that, after completing my undergrad, I published a few journal and conference papers. So I also work on research side as well. But the problem during my undergrad is like I never documented anything. So, and it actually created multiple problems at that time. I took more than expected time to solve simple problems. And I also solved the same problems multiple times in 1 or 2 years gap. Let me explain this way. Let's say I solve a problem particular to firmware development and I didn't document it at that time. After 2 years later, I faced the same problem and I solved that again from the scratch. So this was kind of vicious loop I had to go through during my undergrad. And one of the cool project I want to actually mention about what I did during undergrad was the giant audio visualizer, developing inverter from scratch. And there are so many projects I did. So I regret about that not documenting anything at that time. So right now I miss working with hardware because I do not work with hardware at this point extensively because most of my work are based on research and simulation based. Yes, I do hardware stuff right now, but that is not extensive. So whenever I try to recollect something or tinker with hardware, I have to do that from scratch right now because I do not have any previous documentation. That is the one of the drawback I did. And that is one of my biggest mistake in my whole life so far. Um, and because I also thought that if I have documented properly, I would be able to publish all of those documentation and all of those projects into my blog at this point because now I have time to spend time of my hobby, which is writing blogs as well as making YouTube videos. So these are the things. That's why I enforce everyone to document as much as you can because writing, writing your notes or making notes or documenting staff's problem, bug problem, research problem, or your understanding into your note is kind of treasure because there is actually saying that if you write anything using your own words, it is highly likely that you will remember that stuffs for a longer time. So I know there's a revolution. You can ask any question to AI and you will get answer, but that is not yours, right? And so the thing is like, so that's why I tell everyone to take notes. And another thing of taking note is like, when we are taking note, we are actually thinking about ourselves. What if I want to look into this note after 10 years and understand that concept within 2 or 3 seconds? Is it possible if you just search anything in using ChatGPT or stuff? No, that's not possible. If you make something or make your notes, that is easy to understand within short time and easy to reachable. So that is why I actually am forced to build your second brain. So I have a full video series on that, how to actually get started with the Obsidian and Zotero, which are the fundamental blocks of my second brain. And the good point is, based on my undergrad mistake, I actually learned that, and I started making notes at the beginning of my PhD, and which shaped my life a great deal. And I'll explain later. Um, Now I explain my PhD journey, how it looks like. I came to USA in 2021 and I started my PhD at Clarkson University, New York. And one of the thing about my PhD is I wanted to do PhD in power electronics. And because of my bad results during undergrad and bad GRE and TOEFL scores, I couldn't able to get funding in power electronics field. And but I found my funding in power system, which is mostly simulation based, which I do not dislike but not like. So both way, I'm okay with that because I have extensive experience working with hardware, more than 5 6 years, firmware development, PCB design, and power electronics, circuit debugging, all those stuffs. So when I started PhD, I was kind of in a difficult position because whatever I did before, it's kind of useless at that point because I couldn't use or utilize any of my knowledge. So I started from scratch learning power system, EMT simulation, inverter modeling, and interconnection study. So all of those stuffs. So then I was kind of struggling at the beginning of my PhD. Then I thought that, okay, I have to do things efficiently at this point since I am learning a lot of stuffs which are completely new to me and I never documented during my undergrad. Okay, let's start with something. How can actually be more efficient with respect to knowledge management so that I do not have to work on the same stuffs again and again. The thing is like I do not want to reinvent the wheel at that time. So I thought that what if I started taking notes, whatever I'm learning every day. And at that point, I started looking into internet, how to actually manage knowledge, all those stuffs. And I started looking YouTube videos from different productivity guys. And then one day I actually came aware of the Notion. Then I started using Notion and taking notes. And at that point, maybe within 2 3 months, I took around 2,000 notes in Notion, and I was really happy about that because I'm writing down everything I'm doing or learning every day. Even I'm actually writing my journal in Notion, and I was very comfortable with it. And I also demonstrated into my lab group how I took notes about different topics and organized all those stuffs in Notion. And my professor actually praised me for that. He also liked many of my documentations in Notion. And so then I came to know about second brain concept, how to actually manage it, why it is helpful, how to actually make connected notes so that we can connect different concepts and organize all those notes. So then I read many books about note taking, second brain, and all of those stuffs. I started looking into blogs, forums, YouTube videos, how can I actually build my own second brain so that I can manage all of my knowledge in a central way. Then at one point, I stumbled a little bit because I found a few flaws in Notion. which was like it was taking more time to manage the notion than taking notes. So this kind of tool became another it tool became another word other than taking notes. So I thought that I have to actually come up with something better so that I can make my note taking process better and improve. And also I was looking something which is local because I faced multiple problem with synchronizing Notion notes, and also the Notion was slow and which I didn't like, and I was really afraid about one point that what if Notion server is down, I need something because I'm putting down everything, all of my knowledge, which is kind of second brain into Notion. So I was really aware of that, about that. And also at that time, Notion didn't have end-to-end encryption when synchronizing. So I was really concerned about this as well. Then at one point, I learned about Obsidian. I started using it. I really loved it at that time because it was so simple. It was local based on a markdown. I do not have to worry about formatting, managing complex workflow just like Notion. Just create a markdown file, take your notes. Whatever idea you have, whatever you are learning, just jot down it and just forget about it. And at one point, you will find that that is useful. That is what I did at the beginning. And at that time, I actually studied a lot about second brain, how to manage knowledge, how to manage digital system, manage folders, manage all of the literature notes, and how to connect all of my learnings, how to make proper indexing so everything is searchable, and how to manage all of those backup and synchronize using multiple devices. So this was really transformative time for me. And then after doing all those stuffs, it was at the middle of 2022. I thought that, okay, now I have a good workflow of second brain where I have, which is kind of equivalent to my brain because it has a significant amount of notes at that point. And I have documented a lot of stuffs which I was learning from class, from my research, from also from my personal experiences. And so I thought that what if I make a video series on second brain at the middle of 2022. So I did. I did that and I'm really proud of that. I made 3 video series at that time, and which many people actually knocked me personally that they find it very useful. I'm really proud of it. Not only that, actually I got very good review on the on those playlists, and it is a good feeling. And overall, all of those video series I made do not take more than 2 hours to complete. So if you are interested, you can check in the link or into my YouTube channel. So that is all about it. I will explain next topic. So in this point, I want to explain how my first journal writing experience was during my PhD. So it was 2022, around February or March. My professor asked me to prepare the first draft of the journal. And so I was kind of struggling at the beginning. So there are a few reasons for that. I started reviewing the literature, then started writing my first draft. So the main problem I faced was it was kind of blank because I cannot remember anything what I will write and put into my manuscript. I started with literature review and I found that I cannot remember anything at all. Whatever I read, at that point, I have already reviewed more than 20 to 30 papers, but I cannot remember a single line from any of the papers that I reviewed at that point. So I was really frustrated because I reviewed just 1 or 2 days back, but I cannot remember any of the lines from that. And the next thing was whenever I'm trying to remember a line. Okay, fine. I have write down that line from my memory, but the problem with that is like I couldn't remember which line. I mean, which paper, I got that line. So for that reason, I couldn't properly refer all of those papers. However, my professor asked me to complete the literature review and submit to him. So, what I did after a lot of struggle, because I suffered a lot remembering lines from different papers. If I remember lines, I do not remember the paper name or author name. So, which was really frustrating to me. And I submitted my first draft to my professor, and his first reaction was, "It is not a good story at all." Yes, I know, because I was struggling and I was blank. So, and that point really hit me really, really hard, because I have to make a process or pipeline so that whatever I'm reading, I can recollect that and exactly refer that into my paper. And whenever I will write anything, I do not want to start from scratch. I should have bunch of notes which I will copy paste into my manuscript and then change the lines or paraphrasing the lines and make the story, so that I do not have to hear that it is not a good story. So that actually motivated me a lot to build my second brain and make notes everything I read, everything I encounter, everything I experience. So I believe this story will help you or convince you the importance of making notes and building second brain. Next story is about my PhD comprehensive exam. I had to participate in PhD comprehensive exam to be eligible for PhD candidate. And at Clarkson, I had to submit a report which is kind of part of my thesis book, and present my research work so far I did at the time and future proposal. So I started writing my report 2 weeks before the final submission. And good thing about that, at that point, I have hundreds of notes I collected from different papers. And the good thing about all of my notes is I have exact reference of that all of the notes. When I say the exact reference, that means I saved all of my notes in Obsidian through automatic way. And good thing about that is all of those notes are directly connected to my Zotero reference system, where I put all of the paper PDFs. Whenever I am looking for any concept which I want to include into my PhD comprehensive exam, I already have maybe two, three references on that concept. So I can just click on the link into my Obsidian and go back to that paper and find the site key and put into the site key so that I can refer that properly. So this second brain and paper writing process, which I developed at the beginning of 2022, and the second brain at the same time, helped me a lot to get done my comprehensive report, which is around 70 pages, within 2 weeks. And I was really efficient at that point, and I was able to manage more than 100 citations, which I included into my report. So I was really happy about that. I was able to finish writing my comprehensive report and within short time, as well as managing all of those citations. This is not only the fact I was able to synthesize all of the information I collected by this time from different paper. I was able to group all of the information into tabular format, and I was able to um, summarize, or I was able to make a common statement about multiple papers by this way, because I have all of the notes and I collected by this time. So this was really a transformational experience for me. I believe this will be also an inspirational experience, an inspirational story for you, how it helped me to transform my PhD journey, as well as made my life smoother and better than before when it comes to knowledge management, as well as doing academic job or any research job or any type of business or any things you are doing or any research stuff you are doing. And this story is about last year of my PhD. And at the end of 2023, when I completed my comprehensive exam, I applied for internship at Electric Power Research Institute, which is in short EPRI, where I am working as a full-time researcher right now. And so luckily, I got the position. Then I started my internship at the beginning of 2024. But the problem was I also was full-time research assistant at Clarkson University and started a new project at the end of 2024 of 3. So I had to continue that project when I'm doing my internship because it was in a tight deadline. And on top of that, I have my PhD topic, which is different than my research project at Clarkson University. So at that point, I had to manage three full projects, and it was really a difficult time for me at the beginning of 2024. At the daytime, I was working for my internship, and I came back from my office and took a rest for 1 hour so that my brain understand that I have a separation between two concern and I also can get it refreshed. So this way, after taking 1 hour rest, I started working with my PhD research project as well as my PhD thesis. So, but the thing is, like at that time, I also took note extensively about everything I did at during my internship as well as my research project as well as my thesis work. And my thesis work was completely different, which I started completely new based on reinforcement learning, and I was kind of new in this field at that point. And the next thing was I have to complete my PhD at the end of 2024. So I was in a very tight position at that point. And one of the transformative experience at that time was none of the project was actually working at the beginning of 2024. Everything was messed up. There was a lot of problem. Nothing was working at all. So I actually took note all of the problems I was facing for my internship work as well as my PhD research work and all other projects. So this way, from within 3-4 months, I was able to sort out the main problem and I developed the pipeline for all of the projects apart from my thesis work. So I was happy about that. That note taking helped me to solve or sort out all of this problem. And then after 6 months, 6 months past away of 2024, I started working with my thesis, which is based on reinforcement learning. And I was applying reinforcement learning to the inverter control and power system integration to identify and mitigate oscillation into the power system due to the control interaction. So it was a new things, and also reinforcement learning was new to me as well. And and I also have to write multiple manuscript within 2-3 months so that I actually pass the criteria to be able to get my PhD degree. So it was really good experience, and it was also difficult for me at that time. But good thing about that, since already I have a lot of notes about my writing, all of the papers I reviewed, all of the things I have done before. So, whenever I started getting good results, it took me 1 week or 2 weeks to prepare a complete journal and submit for review. So that was really a good experience. Although I struggle a lot with all of the multiple projects as well as writing the manuscript. But I did well. As I remember, by September or October, I prepared manuscript for 2 journal and 3 conference papers. And so then by the end of December or November, actually, I have completed three journals or four conference papers, and another conference paper I was second author of. So in total of five manuscript. Not only that, by November, I also completed my thesis book, including everything and results. So it was only possible because of my organized note taking and documenting everything, all of the problems I was having, facing, and keeping track of my work in Obsidian and my second brain base so I didn't miss anything. I was able to prepare the manuscript, report everything within short time. And then I got the opportunity to apply for full-time position at AP because I was doing internship from the beginning to end of 2024. And then I applied over there. I had multiple rounds of interview, and um, after completing my PhD candidacy exam, I forget the month. I also received my full-time position offer from April. So it was really good experience, and I didn't have to look for or apply for so many jobs, and I would say I was in a lucky position, and I was strategic about all of the things I did during last year of my PhD. So that is all about my PhD journey. I completed all of the requirements, all of the report, thesis, everything by December 2024. Then I joined April as a full-time researcher around January 20th. Then I defended my PhD at the end of March 2025. So this is how my second brain, Obsidian, Zotero, all of the things helped me and shaped my life, and helped me manage everything. And finally, right now, I have time to spend time of my hobby, which you are watching right now, and I'm really happy about it. I'm leading a balanced life after struggling 3.5 years. So I think I'm almost at the end of my video. I hope my story will help you, inspire you, and if you find this useful or inspirational, please look into the description below to see all of the links I discussed throughout my video and all of the blog posts I talked about in my video. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. If it adds any value to your life, please share with your friends. And if you have any questions, don't forget to comment. Okay. Now I will be actively available in YouTube from now. Thank you.